as I got out of the car, I heard a voice say, "Hello, my dear." And that was Mary McLeod Bethune. And from that day on, she claimed me, and of course I was glad to be claimed. Uh, she was uh, just one of the greats of our time, really.
Tell us some of those fond memories you have as a professor as well as an administrator here at the university.
Well, I came as a teacher of English, uh, and then went to the chairmanship of the Department of English, and then when we uh, reorganized, I became uh, chairman and head of the humanities division, and from that to the deanship, vice president for academic affairs. All of which time I just reveled in what I was doing. I had just great fun with students. I still hear from some of those students these days. They keep me going.
Good deal.
Um, it's such a nice story as I think about it.
Now, throughout your illustrious career, we have gone, like I said, through the material culture. We have seen numerous awards that you received, but two kind of stand out in terms of academic accomplishments and your contributions to the university. The first one I want you to talk about is the Mary McLeod Bethune Medallion, to which you were the first faculty to be a recipient of that award. So can you tell us a little bit about the Mary McLeod Bethune Medallion and what that meant to you to receive that award?
Well, it just inspired me to work harder. I love to work, and I love to help young people to work and to realize the joys that can come from working with and for and helping others as well as oneself. I stayed, now I've started thinking about something else and I forgot what you asked me.
Oh, what the receiving the Mary McLeod
Oh,
Bethune Medallion meant in terms of accomplishments for you, both personally as well as professionally, to be the first faculty member to receive that award.
it was the first given to the institution in her name and for her sake and her service, her work, her leadership, everything. I was certainly overjoyed, and I always tried to. Well, I wanted to be like her. I knew that she was an Albert, and Albert Bethune tells me I always get this wrong, but I always say that she was the 13th of 15 children, I think it was. Either the 15th or 17th, whatever it was, but she was this black woman, who was determined and who felt for, not just for herself, but for others. She often said, "I believe in God, and I believe in Mary McLeod Bethune." And I don't think you can beat that. I know I never thought of even, I should have been in, I say should have been in law, because when I was finishing Chicago, high school in Chicago, a group in the National Council wanted to send me to Loyola. I was supposed to be in law.
Uh,
But
I think your calling was right here in education. I
I've
really
always
do.
thought about that, because I've been able to touch and walk with and work with, and I love to work. Work is a boon. I don't take medicines, work. I think I'm blessed, and I feel that I've always felt that I should pass on what I have, the gifts that I've been given, and that's what I try to do. And
deal.
some of them have resulted in, I know one resulted in our getting the humanities building over there.
Well,
And
let's
I
talk
know
about
that.
that second great accomplishment, though, and your gift, what I consider your gift, one of your greatest gifts to the university, and that was the creation of the emblem. Now, can you tell us how that came about and what were your thoughts
That's what,
in creating the emblem?
well, I just went on what Mrs. Bethune said. It was love, work, and faith. And I put these three things. And do you have a
Yes.
copy of it? It has been modified, of course. It was modified under Dr. Trudy Kibbe Reed because the word university had to replace college. That was all right with me.
So you could work with that one.
Yeah,
That was a good.
I let
That was a good change, right?
Yeah, I let them.
All right, good deal. That was a good change.
It's just what Mrs. Bethune believed in, and those are the significant dates.
Now, did they send you back to the drawing board once or twice, or did you sit down and
I just
calculate
put it
that
together.
thing and came out with something beautiful?
It just came. It
Okay.
came. Dr. Moore, President Moore, who lived right there in the on the spot where they've just torn where the president's house used to stand next to the shops and everything. That's where the new co-ed building, dormitory
residence
building is
halls?
going to
Yes.
be. I have to get used to that. I still see those old things there. But it was President Moore who came in 47. And Dean Charlotte Ford Clark was the academic dean. I think President Moore told her to create a logo and seal. Give us a seal. Charlotte Ford Clark just told me, she didn't ask me to do it, I'll never forget that. She told me, Cleo Surrey, I want you to design an image, a seal for Jim Cookman. She told me to do it. And of course, I did it.
You did an excellent job.
And it's
Excellent
made
job.
of what Ms. Bethune said she believed. What is it? The faith? I did it now, and I can't even. It's in my
Yes,
pocket.
faith, hand, and heart.
Head, hand, and heart.
Head, hand, and heart.
Hand,
Excuse
and
me.
heart. Head, hand, and heart. That's what makes the world go around. Faith. I believe in God. That's faith. And I believe in Mary McLeod Bethune. It meant that you work. That's what I'll never forget her words one day when I heard her say to someone who'd come here to work. The person was assigned to carry out some kind of duty or assignment, and didn't want to do it because it was quite a bit of work. And Mrs. Bethune said, that I'll never forget her. I thought that's what you came here for. That meant to work. You believe, but belief alone doesn't bring things to pass. You work things out. That's the basis of the logo.
All right, now,
Head, hand, and heart.
last thing we want to talk about today. You are also responsible for bringing Greek life to Bethune-Cookman University, and particularly through the Sigma Gamma Rho sorority. You went on to not only bring Sigma Gamma Rho here, but go on to be the national bacillus. Can you kind of describe what it was like bringing Greek life to Bethune-Cookman University, as well as your involvement with Sigma Gamma Rho?
It was wonderful.
Right.
It was wonderful. Um,
Give us that
I,
quick story of that first line that you brought onto campus.
okay, in the city there were, well, on campus, well, in the city, AKAs, Deltas, and I think Zetas were established at the time, but they were flourishing chapters of the other two, AKs and Deltas. I was the one Sigma Gamma Rho member in town and in surrounding areas. And I wanted, well, I just wanted my sorority here because I had been very active in my chapter at Lemoyne and engaged in everything that concerned the sorority. So I just set to work and I recruited and I, fated and I explained and I presented my sorority to groups of young women on campus. The fruit of those activities was evident in a line of, I believe there were either 14 or 17 in my first line.
Okay.
On probation, in royal blue and gold. The royal blue dresses with gold aprons. Dr. Mary Ellis Smith was a charter member of the first chapter of Sigma Gamma Rho, which was the first of the Greek letter organizations to be chartered, centered on this campus. 1948. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Some, I won't call their names, but some the other Greeks, of course, wondered, how'd you do it? And some wanted to put me on the line or something. I know they did. Some really didn't like it. They didn't want, well, how did you do that?
So now you went on to also be a leader in your sorority nationally.
I was national president.
Yes, ma'am. Tell us about that experience, by all means.
Well, that was just one of those things. I had been the syntactes, the organizer and leader of the Southeast region for some years. After that, I was active. I always worked with, though I did not attend meetings, but I supported the Chicago activities of Chicago chapters and other chapters. I went around speaking and all that. I was a great speaker.
We thank you for sharing with us today, and we thank you for sharing your history with Bethune-Cookman University as well as with Sigma Gamma Rho. Thank you again, Dr. Higgins.
Thank you.